You guys have been asking for it, and I hear you. So today, we're going to learn how to draw clothing, folds, and wrinkles. Your character's outfit says a lot about their personality, so it is really important you know how to draw clothes properly. We're going to touch on different materials, gravity, tension, and texturing. I'm going to explain how it makes sense to me, and hopefully it'll make sense to you too. Let's get started. This video is sponsored by Skillshare. To prepare for this video, I took Gabriel Piccolo's class, Character Illustration, Drawing Faces, Figures, and Clothing. Yes, that Gabriel Piccolo, the guy who made these famous Teen Titans designs. His class touches on all aspects of character design, including clothing. Seeing how professionals work and think is always very helpful, insightful, and even a little comforting, because you can see how their brain works in real time, not just speed paints or finished illustrations. There's many classes taught by artists you may already know, and they all include class projects so you can apply what you've learned and show it out to the community. There's also tons of other classes on watercolor, character illustration, how to sell your art, digital painting, and pretty much anything you can think of. If you'd like to join Skillshare, now's a great time, because the first 500 people to use my link in the description or scan the QR code will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. So you can start learning right away, risk-free, and maybe discover something that completely changes the way you create. So scan the QR code or join using my link. Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Before we get into drawing clothes, we must consider what's going on under them. Your character's body type will affect how the clothes look. This may sound obvious, but a lot of beginners draw clothes like this, which completely ignores how the fabric and the body interact. There are 3 main interactions we must think of when drawing clothes: gravity or movement, material, and tension. There's also additional factors like the wind, wetness, and other special cases that may affect the clothes, but this doesn't always apply. I think I can explain myself better with a visual example. Here's 2 body types, one with a defined chest and the other with a less defined chest. Both of these characters are going to wear a basic cotton t-shirt. Before we even put on the shirts on the characters, let's run down the interactions I previously mentioned. The characters are standing upright, nothing too crazy is happening, so the gravity will pull the shirts down. The material is cotton. Cotton is soft, easily malleable, and suits itself well to bending, pulling, and wrinkling to accommodate any external forces. Basically, it will take the shape of whatever the gravitational pull is pulling it towards, and it will create wrinkles and folds to take on that shape if necessary. I think a lot of people get wrinkles and folds wrong because they don't understand their origin or purpose, so let's address that first. I want you to look at your hands real quick. Look at the wrinkles on your fingers. Now make your hand into a fist. Notice how those wrinkles smoothen out as they stretch over your bones. Now open your hand again, and look again at how your skin bunches up. Wrinkles form to accommodate manipulation. The joints on your body have wrinkles or edge of skin to accommodate for when you stretch or bend your body. Well, because if you didn't, your body would be stiff or your skin would get injured or break anytime you bend over. Same goes with clothes. When clothes are too tight, you become less mobile, or the clothes may rip. So wrinkles are an excess or bunching up of fabric to accommodate mass and movement. Now, how do you know where to put them? Its explanation may be a little out there, but it makes sense to me, so follow me for a second. You guys know what the T-pose is, right? It's a standard pose that 3D models are made in. The legs are straight, the arms are pointing to the side, the head is facing forward, and the hands are in a palm shape. There is no bending or stretching of the skin going on, so everything can be modeled in a mainly unaltered state. If you struggle knowing where to add wrinkles, when adding clothes or anything really to the character, imagine them in a T-pose and then slowly in your mind, move everything to the pose you're making in your drawing. That way you can more methodically determine what areas are being stretched and pulled, which, by the way, are actions that depend on each other. If fabric is being pulled, it will have a reaction elsewhere. When you bend your elbow, it will be pulled here and bunch up here. If it doesn't get bunched up, it will shift its position. Stretching, bending, nothing you do to the fabric will make it bigger or smaller. It changes its shape, so any movement or manipulation will have an equal reaction elsewhere. This matters mainly in animation to ensure that the clothing length stays consistent, but it's good to keep in mind as an illustrator. So how do we apply all of that in a real drawing? Well, here's how I would do it. The first thing I do is see if there's anything that's going to pull the fabric in any way. Anything that's pushing it further or bending it. For the character with a defined chest, the chest is going to pull the shirt forward a bit, which has a reaction of lifting the front slightly. Remember, every action will have a reaction. This will make the fabric a bit tighter around the chest too, which will have the reaction of making it fit looser on the stomach. Some fabrics may stick to the skin, like latex or even a smaller cotton shirt. But for this example, we're thinking of a standard size cotton shirt. The fabric will not try to stick to the skin unless an external force like wetness is applied. It will only listen to the gravitational pull that's pulling it down. Now, we're not done. The chest isn't a flat plane. It has a dip in the middle and other variants like collarbones, nipples, and muscle mass. They will make the surface area not perfectly smooth. And also, as the fabric isn't sticking to the skin, there will be factors like the wind continuously shifting the fabric. All this to say, there should be some wrinkles going from the chest to the bottom of the shirt to indicate all of those factors, and the transition from tight fitting around the chest to loose around the stomach. If all this is too much or too confusing, don't worry. If you're new to the channel, I like to do a more in-depth explanation of things first and a more simple one later. I want to make sure that you know why you're drawing certain things, instead of just telling you to do it with no explanation. This way I can empower you to answer any future art questions yourself and start thinking like an artist. But it's okay if you need a little help. I always provide a simple cheat sheet or a summary later on. If you like this format, maybe subscribe for more. Okay, now onto the sleeves. Remember the T-pose, and then imagine their arms going into position. This resting position will create some stretch in the shoulder area, very minimal most of the time since most shirts have seams to accommodate this. And the reaction is that the armpit area will bunch up. That was a lot for a basic shirt. You mean I have to do this for every single piece of clothing I draw? Well, yes, but that's just what us artists do. We do dozens of little calculations with every stroke. And if you're an artist, you already do this. Plus, once you understand the calculations of this clothing drawing algorithm per se, it becomes a lot easier to do this for other clothes. Let's do the same process for the flat-chested character, and then I'll give you a simpler set of instructions and some more demos. This flat-chested character doesn't have anything that pushes the shirt forward, so the shirt sits on the shoulders and then drapes down. Does that mean there's no wrinkles? There still is. Instead of thinking of the wrinkles going from under the chest to the bottom, think of them going from the shoulders down. And the arms do the same thing as before. Imagine their movement from a neutral T-pose to the pose in your drawing. And think of the pull and push movements accordingly. Simple, right? Let's go over the process again. Step 1. Think of the movement or gravity. Is your character doing an action pose? Where's the center of gravity? Is there strong winds going on? Step 2. What's the fabric made of? Is it malleable like cotton or stiff like latex? How much will the movement or gravity affect it? Step 3. Where are the tension points, and what actions and reactions does it have on the material? And remember, all of this is in relation to your character's body. So think of your character in terms of planes, areas that are being pushed forwards and backwards, and how it will affect the fabric. I traced over some different poses and identified the main factors: movement, material, and tension. Feel free to pause and use these as a reference on how you could study clothing. I don't want to get too repetitive, but I wanted to make sure you guys understand tension and movement. And more importantly, make sure that you actually practice. Get a bunch of pictures of clothes, trace over them, and identify what's going on, just like I did in my example. Let's do another example with a different fabric. Let's do some loose jeans. They're trendy, and also they have tons of wrinkles. Before we were working in fabric that is basically suspended in the air, hanging off your shoulders. Jeans fall on your shoes or the floor sometimes, but there's a lot of scrunching up going on. Loose jeans are designed to have excess fabric that creates these folds, specifically to ignore the body under it and create a more consistent silhouette. Before going to this example, I want to mention that using references is good and, quite frankly, necessary. I am the biggest advocate for using references, and even tracing if it helps you learn. I still get comments from people that get really bothered when I trace, but I want to break the stigma. Art is not about suffering as much as possible because it's the only way your art is valid. The calculations I've taught you are good and will help you be able to draw things from your brain. But the goal of art isn't to draw things from your brain, it's to make the ideas in your head into something that sits outside of your head. Using the knowledge I taught you will make studying from references even more productive, as you'll be able to understand why the wrinkles form, how to analyze materials, and everything else you'll need to not just draw what you see, but understand what you're drawing. So if you still feel shame on using references, please know that there is nothing wrong with using them and they're extremely helpful. If anyone tells you that you will make it in the industry or you won't get commissioners or whatever, they're lying. They're lying. Stop suffering for the sake of suffering, please. If you just want to develop the skill to draw from your head on your own for your own personal reasons, that's fine, but just know that it has no bearing on your ability as an artist or the validity of your art. Let's always start by determining where the clothes are hanging from. Here, they hang from the hips and flow down. Denim is a bit harder than cotton, and is therefore a bit more stiff and less affected by factors like wind and gravity. With denim, or even oversized sleeves that sit on top of the hands, I like to determine the starting point and the ending point and then connect the two. As you observe lots of references, you start to see patterns in the wrinkles. I put some common wrinkle patterns on screen and where and why they wrinkle. A common beginner mistake is that people know more or less what wrinkles look like, but they don't know why or where they happen. So they just put them everywhere and it makes the clothes look like they haven't been ironed in like 50 years. So feel free to screenshot this and use it as a loose guide, but if you can get a good reference pic, that's even better. For the loose jeans, I like to keep it simple and go from bunched up to stretched out wrinkles until it is fully smooth at the top. Sometimes it's hard for me to explain why I do things because a lot of my real process is to expand my visual library. So I just draw it because I've seen it hundreds of times and I know more or less how things are supposed to look. I try my best to explain things for you guys, but I like to be honest. So yeah, my real process is referencing a lot, which is why my how to draw anything video was one of my first, because I knew I'd be constantly referencing it. That's how I actually do things. But in these videos, I try to explain my process and what I've learned for you guys. When you reference a lot, you start to notice patterns and things just sort of start to make sense. Now, another factor I hadn't brought up and will be relevant here is texture. We've been considering material when it comes to weight and how the material gets affected by gravity and such, but texture refers to how we add color and details to the clothes. With denim, you can get away with just making the pants blue, but adding texture will really elevate your clothing game. Although denim is texture optional, latex is only texture. Latex is very stiff and creates very little wrinkles. What matters with latex is the texturing. High contrast shine with tons of reflections and very dark shadows. This isn't in my script, but I just thought about this on the fly. Latex and metal are kind of the same when it comes to how you shade them, but metal is a lot more high contrast. So be very careful when texturing, because if your colors or the contrast is off in any way, the material may look different to what you're actually trying to convey. As a rule of thumb, the smoother a material is, the more light it'll reflect. The rougher, the more it'll diffuse light. Remember, even skin-tight clothing is still sitting on top of your body, and it will smooth out some of the details of the body. It isn't suctioned into your body. So don't just draw lines on your character's body and call it a day. Add some thickness and smooth out certain areas, specifically any crevices in your body. Now let's talk about skirts and dresses. Skirts and dresses are usually made from more thin materials, and they are more affected by wind than other clothing items. Remember when I talked about actions and reactions? Skirts are the primary example of this principle. Here's an easy way to draw skirts. Draw a circle for the waistband and a circle for the bottom of it. You can make this circle curve to indicate the wind or flow of this skirt. Have fun with this circle. I like to do this like weird pleated shape. It's hard to understand, but just look on screen, and this is perfect for skirts. It's kind of like this weird pattern. Just have this pattern in mind and then stretch it and bend it however you want. Now you simply add pleats if applicable, or a few floating lines. And if you did this pattern, connect the little peaks, these little lines, into the waistband. Your skirts will look amazing. Remember, what's under the clothing matters. If a knee is poking the fabric, add some wrinkles to indicate that. The area where the knee is pushing against the fabric will be smooth, and the areas under will have wrinkles. When in doubt, reference. I honestly think this is all you need. I think if you learn both extremes and the neutral or middle of something, you basically know how to draw all of the thing, if that makes sense. In my hair video, I taught you how to draw light, dark, and medium colored hair. When I make a skin video, I'll probably do the same. And today you learned about loose and stiff materials and smooth and rough texture. I think you can place any material in this axis. Leather is slightly smoother and stiffer than denim, so just draw denim but smoother and stiffer. Polyester is also smoother and stiffer than cotton, but rougher and looser than latex. Wool is rougher and stiffer than denim, so on and so forth. So when you know about both extremes and the neutral, it's about making little calculations and adjustments to draw anything in between. So here's your material cheat sheet with all the important materials that I could think of with some examples, and my previous cheat sheets. Feel free to save them and share them. This is my gift to you for watching the whole video. I do want to add that I'm not perfect. Some of these things may be wrong. This is just what I've learned and how I like drawing things. So take these with a grain of salt, and it would be even better if you could use them as a base to create your own material cheat sheet, because your own art style may do things differently. So keep that in mind, and if you want to add some corrections to the comments, you can do it, but be respectful and kind. You know what time it is? It's quiz time. I hear you guys. You want more time to think, so I'll make the pauses a little bit longer. All right, here we go. What factors do we think about when drawing clothes? Gravity and movement, material, and tension, as well as external materials like wetness, wind, etc. Which is stiffer, cotton or denim? Denim. As I previously mentioned, denim tends to hold its shape a little bit more and is a bit less affected by things like movement and gravity. What factors are affecting this item of clothing? The knee is creating tension and stretching the fabric here, causing bunching up here. All the wrinkles are stemming from this tension point. Smoother the fabric, the blank, it reflects light. A, more, or B, less. The smoother the fabric, the more it reflects light. Smooth material tends to be shiny, and rougher material diffuses light. What is affecting the material here? Since the material is wet, it is weighing it down and causing it to stick to the skin. This makes the material less susceptible to wind, and it also affects the way tension points work, since the entire surface of the skin is applying mild tension to the material. It's okay if your answer was just, it's wet, but it's also nice to expand upon it. I don't know if you've ever been in class and your teacher asks you a question and you give an answer and they're like, okay, more. And you're like, but that's the answer. What else do you want? They do that for a reason, and you should do that with art especially. The more you understand these things, the more capable of an artist you are, and the more ideas you can bring to life. Because sometimes the perfect reference doesn't exist, so you have to use all your knowledge to create the piece that you're thinking of. What's an easy way to draw skirts? You warp a circle and connect it to another circle in the waistband, or use the little pattern that I gave you. Remember? From the artist's perspective, what is the difference between texture and material? Material is what the fabric is made of. It is our logic for how to draw it. Texturing is how we color and shade it. The two are linked to one another, and if you've ever worked with 3D software, you know as well. If you have a denim texture, but the material is shaded smoothly, it's not gonna look like jeans, it's gonna look like those Temu polyester printed on clothes. So it's important you get the texturing and material right. Quiz over. How'd you do? This video was very heavily requested, so I hope I could help some of you. I'm not the greatest at drawing clothes, so if you have anything to add or anything you'd like to correct, feel free to do so for the benefit of the viewers. Just make sure, again, to be respectful and kind. I've been so busy with university and this video took a lot out of me, so I'm gonna go to bed now. Also, I want to mention that I got a new computer. Yay, thank you guys. You viewing these videos is what helped me get this new computer. But because I have a new computer, some things are going to be a little different. I think my tracking is a lot smoother now, which is awesome. But some things ain't missing or misplaced or look a little yank. So like, just work with me, okay? All right, thank you so much. I'm not going to ask you to comment anything. I'm just going to go to bed. See you guys.